let's try to, oops, where was my, go back. Okay. So for chapter 1, we're going to learn about the 10 topics here. Okay. The 10 topics. The first over the complex number, that is very important. It's like the symbol I associated with the imaginary numbers. That is the two type of the characteristics importance. The I or j square is equal to -1, and 1 over j, multiply numerator, denominator, apply to the j to j, and finally we can get minus j. Okay, so 1 over j is the equal to minus j. Okay? So the complex number means the any number, real number, with the j, we're gonna call as the complex number. Okay, so the complex number consists of the a plus bi or j. A is the real part as x-axis right there, and y-axis is like b is the imaginary part here. Okay, so that is played to drawing for a complex number. Okay, one more time here. This is the format for rectangular or a complex form. C is equal to x plus jy. And the format for the polar form is C is equal to z and theta. Okay, theta right there. So z is amplitude or length in here. That is like the same things what we wanted to do. Okay. So now, rectangular form is x plus yj. To the polar form, we can make z is equal to root x squared plus y squared. And theta, we can calculate it from the x plus y, the two components of the rectangular, y over x, okay? Y over x. And also polar to rectangular form is, we have to find rectangular form as two components, x plus y, j. Finally, the polar form is g sub theta, okay? That is polar form. That is rectangular form. So to find rectangular form, we have to find x and y from the polar form, right? From the polar form, we have already know g and theta. So x is equal to g cosine theta, and y is equal to g times sine theta. So in the x and y, the plane, the two dimensions, we can see that theta and g, this is x, this is y. So we have to make sometime we needed to make a conversion between rectangular form and polar form. So you have to really consider about the two form of this one. So that is a really simple sample questions. For example, 3 plus 4j or j4, right? This one, okay. So step 1, you have to find amplitude, z amplitude, root 3 square plus 4 square, that is equal to 5. And inverse tangent is of 4 over 3. What does that mean? Y over x. Y over x. So 4j plus 3, they still y, they still x. Okay? So 4 over 3. So after you calculate it by the ratio, that is the 53 degree here, okay? And 3 minus 4j, that was equal to root 3 square plus minus 4 over square is equal to 5. Okay? So the inverse tangent of minus 4 over 3, that is equal to minus 53 right there. Okay? So x-axis is a 3, y-axis is minus 4. From the rectangular, we can also, from the polar form, we can find the angle minus 53, and the length is the 5, okay? But the really special case for the if the rear part is less than 0, mean the negative, we have to maybe adding 2 plus 180. You know, that is what we have a rule here, okay? So z is equal to root minus 6 square plus 3 square. We're going to get root 45. That was 6.7. 6.7, okay? Means the length here, that was, 6.7. Okay. The angle minus 26.6. But however, as I said before, the rear part, okay, I'm sorry, right there, lighter, right there. This is the minus 6, mean if the rear part is less than the 0, or we're gonna 180 plus, so finally 153, the degree is for the answer from this question. Maybe how about this one? The same thing, minus 10, minus 20j. The amplitude length is the 22.4. The angle is the inverse tangent of minus 20 over minus 10. That is equal to 63.4. So that was, as I said before, we have to the plus 180. So that was 243.4. The again, that was the 22.4. And from the rectangular, we can see that the direction from the plane minus 10 and minus 20. The length, the minus the 20, and then that was the 240. That's right there. The 243.4 degree. Okay, that is you have to draw from the question. So for this case, from the slides, they have the two different rectangular form in here. Okay, 3 plus 4j plus of minus 2 plus 10j. You have to make a combination of the real part and imaginary part and imaginary part. So from these two rectangular form, in the rear part, 3 minus 2, okay? And 4 and 10 is 14, the summations. So now, maybe one more time again, only one student in here who are missing did not follow with the lecture. J indicator imaginary part. So that is 14 is not real part, imaginary part. So it cannot summation. Some student is like 1 plus 14 is 15. No, 1 plus 14j. That is the final answer. So to find the polar form, first over, you have to summarize the summations about real, imaginary part. Finally, you can get one rectangular form, and then you're going to make a polar form. You have to find z and setup. So z is the equal to root 1 square plus 14 square. Okay. So theta is the equal to inverse tangent of 14 over 1. 14 over 1. So y of x. We learned before. Y over x. So theta is, you can calculate the answer right there. Z is also right there. Okay. So same thing. But that is the two polar form multiply. For this case, you can multiply 3 times 10 amplitude, but the angle part is only plus. Okay. Very important. And also, so the finally 30 and 20, but the nominator denominator, that is the rationally of the number 3 over 6 1 over 2, and 15 minus over minus 15, that is the 30 right there. So that is what we wanted to do. So the next class, that was the two polar forms, is only the summations. From this case, step 1, you have to find the from polar form to the rectangular form, that was 7 plus 7j. And 10, 230 minus 6.4 and minus 7.6j. So you can use the calculator. You can very easy to find the calculations from the polar form. And then from the real part, imaginary part, finally, you can get the one rectangular form, 0.6 plus 0.4j. You can find the z and zeta from the formula. We can calculate it. Okay, now that is for really new cases. For one is polar form, the other one is rectangular form. One polar form we can transfer to the rectangular form, 7 plus 7j, and rectangular form is still going there, 3 plus 2j. So from this, the two rectangular form, we can make a real part and real part, imaginary part. So real part is 10, imaginary part 7 plus 2, 10 plus 9j. And from there, we're going to using the same rule of the z and zeta to find polar form. We can find it.